speed limit's 40. Hey, look at that, I'm doing 40. This is the first time in a long time I agree with the speed limit that they chose. Alright, well there's supposed to be a historical marker around here somewhere. Have not seen it yet, but I've seen a lot of interesting historical things. What I've seen in the past, a lot of these are not well marked. So I don't know if it's that. No. Oh, there it is. Private property. Don't want to be going on private property. It's a pretty bumpy ride for private property. Alright, now we found it right here. Well, let's see what it says. First of all, I haven't really taken a good look at this machine in a while. This thing has to say. Fort Lincoln, when the war with Mexico ended in 1848. Now, where are we? We are between Dehanis. Oh look, there's a people's property I just came out of. Never know out here. So let's get back to our historical sign from the Medina County Historical Commission, set up in 1995. So Fort Lincoln to our north, and Dehanis, we're going to go with Dehanis for now. So apparently around here, and you just I'll have to go back and film it one more time, but there's a little like historical section back there that shows what probably is Fort Lincoln. So when the war with Mexico ended in 1848, the United States established a series of forts along the Rio Grande to secure the border. Interesting. Simultaneously, a first line of frontier forts were built from the Fort Worth southward. So for Fort Worth, I mean, we're talking going north almost 300 miles from here. I guess the situation with Mexico was a little bit volatile. I guess they were going back and forth with who owns who. So yes, it says from Fort Worth southward through this area to defend settlers against Indian attacks. Now, Indian attacks, it's a wide range of possibilities there, but usually most of the signs around here talk about the Comanches, and of course that's a topic for another video, but the Comanches were not really from here. They only came here once they were empowered by the Spanish horses, or the European horses, or you could say horses they acquired through the Europeans, mostly the Spanish. But the idea that the Comanches came in and owned this place, yeah, that was for sure the case. But there was a lot of other tribes that were here first. And so by 1848, you know, this is 300 years since the time the Europeans first arrived. So 300 years already as a country. So longer than the time the United States has been a country is the distance in time between when the indigenous people that lived around here span time until this occurred. West from this point, that's going this direction in front of us, across the Saco Creek, which is the one we just saw, on a high bluff is the site of the old Fort Lincoln. So maybe where that power pole is. Anyway, somewhere along that ridge on the other side of the creek that we just went through is the site of the old Fort Lincoln, one of the first line forts. Established on July 7th, 1849, it was named for Captain George Lincoln, who died in the war with Mexico in 1851. There were barracks for 2 companies, a hospital, and warehouse, all constructed of wood. The company commander, Captain James Longstreet, later a Civil War general, and his men built the fort. So this is about 10 years before the Civil War, 10-15 years. In July 1852, the fort was closed because the frontier had moved west. Interesting. So they had already moved somewhere west far enough to where they didn't even need this thing. That's really bizarre. How they could move that fast with just wagons and horses and stuff, but that was even before the trains were put up. For 25 years after the fort closed, settlers fought Indians over possession of this land. At times, a small force of Texas Rangers was here to help defend the settlers. So this sounds like a pretty volatile area. And again, they mentioned the Indians, but based on this timeline, I have to imagine that they're really just talking about the Comanches. But it would have been real nice if that was included here. Of course, I can always go and try to look it up later, which I will. But for now, that's what we have. Take a little look around and see, is there anything unusually beautiful as to why somebody, besides all this nice garbage here, would fight for this territory so much, or if it was just a land, or because of the creek, that they just want to have ownership of it. More than likely, it's the water. All right, well, we will continue on to the next one, wherever that is. So 2 more miles to Dehanus, or Dehanus. Now there's a better look of the creek itself. It does get pretty wild there, so maybe when it rains, maybe during that time, there was a lot more water to fight over. Right now it just looks there's extreme drought right now as we speak. Oh, there's a little canyon that goes through there, so yeah, if you take a better look back over there, you can see that the topography is a lot more interesting than this road section that we're on. So there must have been some very interesting advantages to having ownership of this particular property, whether it was the Comanches or the Apache or whoever it was at that time. I don't know much about this town. I know it's small. Pretty sure they have a restaurant. I think they have a steakhouse here. It's the one I'm thinking of. I was there once, and it was we'll try it again someday, but so here is, yeah, it's one of these old buildings right here. Yes, that last one down. Now, as far as I'm aware, I can just keep going straight down through here. at some point I'll need to stop and consult the map, because I have a feeling I might end up having to turn left or right here, and I'm not sure which way to go. Let's see if there's any obvious clues from here. Nothing obvious. They both look viable. This one is closer, and I see traffic. I could pull over right there, but I'd rather find a shade tree. So I don't know what road this is, but it's a yellow road, and it's probably the only one around here, so let's see what we find. It's all about exploring today. I've never been out here before. So, got some little communities in there. A bunch of birds in there. Cows. Yeah, a lot of this is just like the time from the past, the land that time forgot. And there is a very big hill for this area. And I know from looking at the map earlier that basically all up and down here are just one creek after the other. Now most of these are just running creeks that only run when there's enough rain. And if we have a nice wet season, it probably would have water most of the time. But when it's dry, and especially in their drought conditions, they'll be dry. So we'll just keep tooling along until I find an interesting place to pull over, check the map more, or if I find a little creek area. See, way out there, you got this huge ridge up the hill, and way out there you got a huge ridge up the hill, even palm trees. But right here, it's all flat. But yeah, somewhere out here, these lands converge when it rains, and it's so interesting to try to understand where the water flows, where it accumulates, and then of course the topography of, what kind of materials the water's landing on, to then further understand what parts of it drink the water, what parts move the water. Hay, fertilized hay, sold out. Buen agua, good water. So I don't know if that's is that a road we can go down? Let's see. There's a little creek right here. Another dead animal. And here's Parker Creek again. Buen agua. What can we do in Buen agua? Hey. Fuel tanks I can mount up on here. I haven't done it yet because I really haven't taken an epic type adventure where I would need that. And when I'm riding around these areas that I'm doing that right now, I mean, I'm within, I've got about 250 to 300 mile range on this tank at these speeds, maybe even a little bit more. And you can see here I've done 115 miles on this tank. And according to my fuel gauge, I have just a little over half a tank. It's a 4-gallon tank. So, that's pretty respectable. there's no reason to cry about that. I mean, basically, if you can do over 200 miles on a tank, just period, that's usually more than anybody would want to ride in one go. And a lot of times, especially for road riding, a lot of times you're gonna plan your stops at gas stations. So every time you stop for gas, you stretch your legs, drink some water. When I get to E, when my light comes on, and it shows that according to the gauge, that I am out of fuel, right when that arrow is hitting the red and the light comes on, hey piggy, so I'm taking a dirt nap. That looks like rain ahead. I might have to stop and check my radar pretty soon, but it's not an immediate concern. Going back to the fuel, yeah. So when it's on red, E, and I fill up the tank, it says that I have 1.5 gallons left. It's over 100 miles. But the grumble is, why do they have to be that far off? I mean, I guess, arguably, you'd rather for sure you want your fuel gauge to tell you that you have a little bit less fuel than you really have. Now I need to slide this over. Shaking my phone loose. Let's get it right there in the middle. It's better. So yeah, the question is, how close do you want it? And 99.9% of riders, drivers, anyone in a gasoline vehicle is probably not going to drive all the way until E. And maybe a lot of people don't even want the light to come on. You have a unit where you have to push 87 or 89 or 93. If you have to push one of those buttons to select which octane, that means more than likely the last people who used it were on 87. Usually that's the case. And if you need 93, basically whatever gas was left over from the pump siphon area all the way to the tube, all the way down into the nozzle, all the way down through, is going to be that 87. And so basically, I don't know how much that is, but it could be half a gallon. So if you only put it in 3 gallons of fuel, but the first half of that, the first half gallon is 87, then you're not even getting, you're paying for 93, but you're only getting, maybe 90% of it is 93, or whatever that math is. I'm not thinking through right now. So that's a different story. But yeah, I do try to get on the Harley. I try not to fill up the tank until I'm all the way down to at least under a quarter. But that huge motor in that thing unbelievably gets really good gas mileage in almost every condition, and so it's easy to do. So going back to this bike, it's no big deal. I work around it. I just know that when I see that light come on, I just add, basically, to be safe, 70 miles. But it's it's just an indicator of an indicator of an indicator that I still have to calculate out myself. Now here's that little creek that I saw earlier, or I guess what's left of it until we get a good rain. Ironically, there's a big rain up there. I don't know if it's going to make it over here. Somebody cooking over there. I can smell some mesquite, which I believe is the majority of this wood here. They probably just go grab a chunk and start cooking. backstrap, something. I don't know why, but I feel like this phone holder is about to give up. Yeah. Wow, I'm glad I caught that. Let me pull over this side of this busy road. Wow, look at that. Even this one came out wonky. So I do have a little storage for here. Figure out if I want to even try to repair that or if it goes in the bin, the recycling bin. But for now, I can just use this one. Alright, so now while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at the radar if we have a signal. Okay, so there is a storm. There is a storm, and it is heading, let's see, it is heading right towards me. So yeah, that was kind of not expected. Not sure at this point which way I should be going. But I'm glad I caught that on time. Because it would have... Oh, I forgot to plug in the cable. Oh, I can't do it. Would not be too funny. I got a gamble here. I could either try to split the difference with those two storms, if there is one, but then I'll be at risk if it converges. Oh, I forgot to check the lens on my lower camera. Holy something with all these cameras. Fully dusted. It was, yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that storm is getting aggressive, but if I dilly-dally around, I have a high chance of getting caught right in the middle of it. That looks pretty strong. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? I go the fastest way, which means I gotta go right back the way it came. Or I could try to split the difference and do the dumb thing, which I'm doing. Storm coming. Y'all better get inside. They don't seem too worried. Yeah, I don't know. This whole mapping thing is it's another situation that I haven't yet perfected. Maybe I'm just using the wrong map. Well, if I see one of these with a county road name, I'll give it a try. Still got half a tank with an Easter bunny, Easter egg pinata, and I don't have my piano bat. Darn it! Could have had me some candy right now. You can see that storm. Yeah, I'm gonna be heading. Whoa! 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 That's a nice jump, dude. Just glad it didn't jump into me. Well, I am glad I caught that on camera. I have not been able to catch it. Hey, dude, did you see that? I got a witness. Got a witness. He saw it. Gotta get a statement from him. I really hope that this is being recorded, because there's a good possibility that my microphone still isn't working. Now this is County Road 531. I don't know where this goes. Looks like it's going north. My compass has not updated yet. It still says I'm going south. What's up, you guys? That's a beautiful, wow, look at that thing. I wonder if people brush those, or are they just always that beautiful looking? I mean, you know, from a distance it looks like velvet. Velvet cow. Picturesque horse ranch. White one, brown, tan, I don't know the horse colors, but chestnut maybe. You know, man, these are just beautiful. Just beautiful. Speed limit's 40. Hey, look at that, I'm doing 40. This is the first time in a long time I agree with the speed limit that they chose.
Never takes a photo bad moment. She's looking for a You can't see the day.